Here's the sign of the monastery. Considering that there's usually not a sign in Bulgaria, we were lucky to have this one. But as you can see, it's easy to get lost, and we got lost all the time when we were traveling. Here's a statue of Georgy Glosh that greeted us along the roadside. He was the Russian prince who founded the monastery. He had been pursuing a sacred icon of Georgy the Dragon Slayer. A clairvoyant had predicted that he must find the icon and build a monastery in the spot where he found it. The monastery was very remote. We had to take this small gravel road alongside the cliff, very curvy and beautiful. It went on for about 6 kilometers, and then finally we caught sight of the monastery. It was perched up on a hill way off in the distance. Really beautiful silhouette on a rocky cliff. Absolutely lost in time. This is a place built in the 13th century. Through arduous effort, bringing rocks up the steep hillsides with goats and donkeys and laborers. It took 20 years to build it.
Here we are on our last approach up to the monastery. Coming in on the little road.
Here I'm walking toward the outer gate. You know, when you travel, you just have no idea what's ahead, and you love surprises. That's the whole joy of traveling. Well, nothing I could have thought would have prepared me for the character I met at the gate of this monastery. His name was Nectari. I would kind of dub him the silly monk. He didn't look like a monk at all. He had his plain clothes on. I guess it was his day off. And he was laughing and jumping and all excited to see us. They don't get so many visitors during the week, so we kind of surprised them a little bit. There was a storm off in the distance that kind of excited him. Some clouds and some rain coming down. It was beautiful views from up there. To enter the monastery, you had to climb up these old stone steps up to a wooden door. I love the stonework in this place. This is the oldest part of the monastery. It was built actually in the 13th century. It's an arched entryway with stones going all across the roof with no mortar to hold it together.
Doggy.
Inside, the first character I met was Brother Yusuf and his little doggy. Can't be too safe these days. It's good to keep a guard dog, you know, watching the gate. This guy was pretty ferocious, you can tell. We got ourselves a simple but nice room down there at the end of the courtyard. There's Theodora coming out. She's made herself at home already.
Monastery sink.
You know, I really like these pots and pans here. I guess they're for doing laundry.
Soup.
Soup? No, I think, didn't Nectari say they were for laundry?
No, you said he said it's for soup.
Wow, that's some big soup. Wonder when the last time was they made a soup that big.
I went up to the porch above the sink to kind of give you another view of the entryway and the courtyard there.
So this is the courtyard. This is quite a place, really. I like how the little rocks come up through the ground because you're really perched right up on a rock.
There's the mountains in the background, some cliffs.
And I like the slate roofs. Basically just slabs of stone laid on top of some wood, and they seem to work pretty well because it rained last night really hard and we just stayed dry.
Here's another great view of the slate roof and some of the rugged mountains in the background there.
So that's their doorbell, huh?
Ring goes down there. Door.
Here's a view looking out straight from the bell. Unbelievable scenery. You can see for hundreds of miles probably. Kind of fits in with the meditative lifestyle up here. I mean, just to look at the view kind of makes you elevated and go, aha. Now I've walked around the back side of the monastery. When you look down over this edge, you can see all the way down to the city of Glojenski, from which the monastery was named. It's way down there in the valley. Here's the far side of the monastery looking over the edge. It's quite a drop, about 100 or 200 feet straight down. Here's the entrance to the little stone chapel. So let's go inside and take a look around. I think Brother Yusuf's in there and Theodora. It's a Bulgarian Orthodox chapel. Really incredible work in here. What first caught my eye was this old leather-bound book. The monks use it for their ceremonies. Brother Yusuf let us look inside and showed us some of the illustrations.
Импровизираме нещо като свещеник.
А тази голямата книга?
Да, за месец.
This book looks a little bit old.
It's for the month.
За всеки ден.
For each day of the month.
Утре
Wow.
вечерна служба.
They have different ceremonies on different days. А изглежда малко стара тази книга.
Да, тя е правена предишния век.
It's from the 90th century.
Yeah, it's got beautiful illustrations on it.
Here Brother Yusuf was really in his element. He was comfortable with the rituals of church, and that was pretty much why he was there. He was more experienced. Away from the church and the books, he's very quiet and reserved, a simple guy, sort of sweet, and I really liked him in many ways, almost the best, you know, compared to the other two monks, but each had a distinct personality. He was kind of like a puppy dog, you know, he was easy to like and a simple guy, very, very quiet. Here he's describing to Theodora how the rituals are used on a daily basis and for holidays and different focuses of the church. Then he points out some of the deities and icons and why they're placed where they're placed. There was great detail in the paintings and also in the woodwork here. A lot of beautiful carving. Here's another view of the backside of the chapel. There's a stove for heating in the winter and all kinds of deity pictures, icons, candlestick holders. It was quite an ornate place, really. A special treat was a view into the inner sanctum. I don't think we were allowed to go in there, but Brother Yusuf left the door open, so I took a little peek. Father Pancrati is also a wonderful character. He's sort of the balancer, the head of the monastery. He balances out Nectari quite a lot. Nectari being very eccentric and young, and Father Pancrati being the voice of reason. It was interesting. We had dinner with them, and much to my surprise, Father Pancrati had had some initiations into Eastern meditations and Taoist practices. So he was speaking in terms of nirvana and saying that there were many paths but one goal. I found this really rather enlightened of him. Next we visited with the young monk Nectari, who had his own enlightened view of things, and we had a little talk with him in the back of the monastery. He really was a rich individual, a little bit idealistic but sincere.
Right. Welcome back, Nectari. Show them the secret passageway.
Да, точно това е стила. Защото ще ми е интересно как посрещам това. Заповядай.
Of course, no monastery would be complete without its own secret passageway. This came in handy when the Ottomans were after the Christians. Next, Nectari led us down to the museum. This is a cool little room, historically preserved in the style of the 19th century. It's in the back of the museum. Truth is, they seem to live pretty much in this style today in the monasteries, so I don't know how it really seemed much of a museum. We asked Nectari if he'd consent to sit down with us and have a little interview. You know, let us know what it's like being a monk. What makes a monk today? What are your views and ideas? Here's what he had to tell us. So Nectari, so how did you come to be a monk? What interested you in living this kind of lifestyle?
Как се случи така, че стана монах? Какво те заинтересува в този начин на живот?
И от малък копнеех за някакъв идеален начин на живот. Живот, който е над материалното.
Since I was a little boy, I was longing for a lifestyle that's far away from the material, like some idealistic way of life.
Над нещата, които са
Ideal.
свързани по материален път. И от малък много обичах да гледам анимационните филми, защото от тях лъхкаше абсолютна чистота.
And I liked to see the cartoons on the TV because they radiated some sort of purity.
Особено ми харесваха филмите с животни.
Especially I liked the movies with animals.
Защото животните ги усещам като едно свръхчисто същество.
Because the way I experience the animals is that they are some super pure beings.
Най-вече ми зацегува филма Дивото зове.
I got especially interested in the movie The Call of the Wild.
Живеех в много красив свят, вътрешен своя свят, въпреки че бях заобиколен от хора, които не ме разбираха и които не само ми създаваха проблеми. Това е моето семейство.
I lived in a very beautiful inner world, although I was surrounded by people who didn't understand me very well. That's my family.
Оттам се реших да се отделя от това семейство, да си водя своя начин на живот.
And so I decided to get separated from this family and to live my own life according to my own understanding.
Затова ми помогнаха и хора, които живееха в моето село. Селените там са много вярващи хора, много чисти хора.
And
село Змаево край Добрич.
some people who lived in my village helped me to do that. Some very nice, good people, understanding people.
Те там вече ме насочиха към православие.
You do a practice called the Jesus Prayer, and it sounds to me a lot like Eastern meditation to me. Could you explain how it works?
Ти практикуваш тази медитация, наречена молитвата на Исус. Мен много ми прилича това на източна медитация. Би ли обяснил как работи? It's the same.
По същия начин. По същия начин.
Way.
Те ползват броеници както и ние. Те ползват мантри, така и ние. Пътят до съвършената молитва е един и същ.
So they use mantras as well as we do. They use how are those little beads called?
Malas.
They use malas. So do we. And the path to the higher state is the same.
В истинска заблуда да живеят тези хора, които ги разграничават тези неща на религии.
People who distinguish those things on different religions are living in some sort of illusion.
Истината е прави добро и обичай.
The truth is do good and love.
Това е най-съвършената религия.
That's the superior religion.
По политически начин, по материален начин. Защото някои обичат някого заради това, че имат пари или за нещо подобно.
Because love is something superior and something perfect, but people use love in some material way, some very earthly way, like somebody loves somebody else because they have money or power or whatever.
Не е съвършената любов и да обичаш всичко.
And the highest way of loving is to love everything.
Значи природата е отворена книга, която четем за Бог.
So nature is like an open book where we read about God.
Вечно веселящата се природа.
It's nature that's always in joy.
За нея няма лято, няма зима, независимо от температурните условия, тя вечно живее.
There is no winter or summer. It doesn't matter the temperature or anything. It's alive always.
Дори да умре кучето, то всъщност не умира. То се претворява в друго нещо.
Even if the doggy dies, it doesn't actually die. It's becoming something else.
Така е с човека.
The same with people.
И затова ме няма и страх от смъртта.
And that's why I'm not afraid of that.
Защото както има залез на слънце,
Because as there is sunset,
така има изгрев на слънце.
there is also sunrise.
Преминаване в друг живот.
It's going into a different life.
Най-красивото, че остава нещо от миналият ти живот.
The most beautiful thing is something's left from your previous life.
Казва, че нали, стена. Това за мен не е стена.
They say space ends at this wall, but this is not a wall for me.
Това също е пространство от частици.
That's also space from little elements.
Най-красивото, че човек като достигне това висше състояние на пространство.
The most beautiful thing is that whenever one reaches this higher state of space,
той разбира, че всичко е частици, всичко е пространство.
he understands that everything is little particles, everything is space.
Мъртви същества няма.
There are no death creatures.
Камъкът не е мъртв.
The stone isn't dead. Plants and animals, everything that is being on the world is being in the love too. Only people are in some other way, and what they have to do is look at the nature and understand how things should be.
Hard to believe I was talking to a Bulgarian Orthodox monk when his message was pretty much the same message that you hear in the New Age and in all consciousness-oriented literature, and he discovered it for himself on top of this mountain at this lone monastery.
Here's the outer wall of the monastery. We actually were staying up in that end room last night.
This is a little walk outside the monastery to a meadow up ahead, and I have to tell you, it's so beautiful here that I feel like I'm in like a fairy tale.
Here's a great view of the monastery from the little road that walks down to the meadow. So we're going to head up to the meadow now.
Ella ella dira hadi andila Sundeya hey hey honde yondeya hey le hopes yondeya hey hey honde yondeya hey le hopes